Welcome back to our channel, Lady Ferns. In this video, we are in California in the Joshua Tree National Park. We are really excited to be able to explore this area and see Joshua trees in real life. And we did something we rarely ever do. We made reservations in a campground, just because we know how popular this spot is. And it truly is amazing how different the weather can be in a 24-hour period. We were getting weather alerts for high winds and low temperatures, but we were not expecting snow. It's not completely impossible to get snow in Joshua Tree National Park. However, it is definitely a rarer thing. We were very excited to see the snow. It felt like forever since we'd seen snow. So we took this opportunity to go outside and enjoy the snow. However, not everybody likes to be out in the snow. The morning after the snowstorm, our check engine light was on the truck. Oh man, now we gotta find a mechanic. We had just spent 3 days camping for free in one of California's wildlife preserves. As 3 days was the limit, it was time to move on, and we decided to come and explore Joshua Tree National Park. We were able to secure reservations at one of Joshua Tree's campgrounds. And we were so excited to be here to see Joshua trees in real life, as they only grow in certain elevations and climates. Once we found our designated camp spot, we unhooked and unpacked. Now it was time to let the pets out, and they enjoyed the sunny weather just as much as we did. Some friends of ours from Canada were in the area camping as well, so we went out onto the town of Joshua Tree and explored for a while. We'll do another video on that another time, but it was a pretty neat little town. We were having so much fun exploring the town of Joshua Tree that we lost track of time, and by the time we rolled back into camp, the sun had already begun to set, and the temperature was dropping rapidly. We had also been receiving weather alerts for high wind warnings all day. So when we arrived back at camp, the wind was also already here. One of the good habits we try to stick with is if we come back and our engine on the truck is warm and it's cold outside, we like to pop the hood in order for the engine to cool off quicker so we don't encourage rodents to come into our engine block. However, by the time we got back to camp that night, it was too strong of winds to feel comfortable leaving the hood up without damaging the hood. So we took our chances, and the hood remained closed. Tara now jokes that we should have just left the hood up. It would have been cheaper to replace the hood than to correct the damage that was done that night. Tara, it's snowing.
It's really cold.
What started off as just a little bit of snow eventually started to cover the ground. It was pretty magical to see Joshua trees in the snow. Later that day, when I went to go start the engine, the check engine light came on. I didn't have a good feeling about this. So we popped the hood, and sure enough, there were signs of little rodent feet all over the engine bay. I guess they went in there to keep warm during the snow and the freezing temperatures. I don't personally own one of the code reader things, so I had heard that in the United States, shops like AutoZone and other mechanical car shops will read your codes for you for free, so that was my next stop. AutoZone, here we go. The code that kept popping up was P0333, which the automotive code reader determined that was the knock sensor 2, circuit high input, bank 2. Which I know sounds like a mouthful, especially if you're not mechanically inclined like me. However, after speaking to a friend of mine who's a mechanic, some local mechanics in the area, and Mr. Google, of course, long story short, it's a wire that's embedded very deep in the engine bay that needs to be replaced. And we've been quoted $2,500 to $3,000 to fix. A mechanic would essentially have to take out almost every single thing in the engine bay of my truck to access this wire and fix it. Thus, we've also been warned the mechanic would likely need to have the truck for up to a week. We are currently in the tricky situation of being in a state where we know no one, in an area where all camping is reserved as far out as the calendar sees, and also only have one vehicle while we travel nomadically. I don't think we've ever been so thankful for a place like Quartzsite. We have one of the long-term visitor passes, which allows us to camp in the LTVAs of Quartzsite for weeks, if not months. So we have a place to park the boler and live. And just over 2 hours north of Quartzsite is Lake Havasu with a Toyota dealership who is willing to do the work for us. And we are also very blessed that one of our friends from Canada happens to be camping in Quartzsite with her schoolie and is willing to help us out while we are truckless for over a week in the desert, which is actually a unique thing. Normally when we're on the road nomadically, we are not by anybody we know. So this is actually a blessing in disguise. We talked to several mechanics and our friend that was a mechanic, and we determined it would be safe to make the trek to Quartzsite and get the truck fixed in Lake Havasu. So that's what we're going to do. This trip may not have been exactly how we planned, but we packed up the boler and made the journey back to Quartzsite. If you'd like to follow along on more of our adventures, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you soon.